All right, guys. It's Wednesday, April 8th. We're here with Bo Hanson. He played for the Rampage in 2013-2014 season. He was a one-year guy and ended up going to the USHL, playing for Muskegon, captain there. Played his college hockey at St. Lawrence. And, even though he's a one-year guy, it's just a different perspective on the whole process. He comes back. I think he's come back every summer except for one summer to train with Coach Pat and train at 365 in the rinks. So just a good quality guy. Went to school at Air Force Air Academy with Sean and Garrett, the guys we had on Monday. So a lot of familiarity with those guys, three really good friends there. So Bo, how's it going? And what have you been doing to pass the time? Obviously a strange way to end the school year and kind of end your season at the same time. What have you been doing trying to stay busy through this time?
Yeah, John, just trying to get by every day. Thanks for having me on here. Like something I was kind of looking forward to see you got your guys' smiling faces again. But yeah, like you said, just I got a program from John, from you, and then been trying to go through that at least every day, trying to do something. I'm currently doing online school through St. Lawrence because our classes got shut down and the school got shut down pretty much. So just every day I kind of wake up, try to make a good breakfast, jump on the computer and see what I got to do that day or see what I can get ahead on. But then after that, it's kind of nice actually. So like you said, I've been in Colorado for, I think this will be my 8th summer back with you guys. So I don't spend much time at home. And so when I come home, it'll be for a week or so at a time. And then I head out to Colorado. So this has been the longest I've been at home with my parents in, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. So they're enjoying the time with me. It's obviously weird, but just enjoying the family time a little bit.
Nice. Well, if you can, let's kind of go back. If you can start us out, just kind of explain where you grew up, how you got into hockey, what brought you to the Rampage, then where you go for juniors after that, and then what got you to the point you're at here at St. Lawrence.
For sure. Like John said, I'm from Boise, Idaho. I grew up here. I was actually born at Fort Collins, but then when I was about in kindergarten or something, I had a friend tell me to try hockey, and I fell every minute for an hour straight. But I fell in love with the game. Grew to just love to compete and work hard, and that's kind of I had really supportive parents. So I played in Boise growing up, obviously, and then I went up and played in Seattle, Washington for a little bit with kind of a travel team there. We'd go up to kind of British Columbia area and around there. And then after that, I went and played in Arizona for a couple years. And then from there, I played a year in Texas. And then after that, at the Rocky Mountain District camp kind of thing to lead to national camp, I met Coach Pat Bingham. And he just thought, hey, you could come try out for my team. We'd love to have you. And the rest is kind of history from there, where I came out. I love Colorado. I mean, obviously, I go back there every summer. But it's just a great city, great state. Great friends there, and so I just love the Rampage organization, obviously. But I stuck around for 1 year there, and then I got drafted in the second round, 25th overall by Muskegon. I made the team out of camp then. Played there for 3 years. When I left there to go to college, I held the most games played record for that program. But yeah, just finishing up my junior year at St. Lawrence. It's been a crazy journey.
Nice. And what are you doing right now? What are your plans here? Training for next season and stuff. What are you up to?
Just trying to get better every day. It's a weird time, obviously, with the coronavirus going on, but I'm lucky enough that I have a nice kind of gym in my basement with a nice shooting range and stuff. So every day I shoot a bucket or two of pucks, go pick them up and do it again. So I'm getting reps in there, and then whenever I can, or basically every day, I go in the gym and run through the program John's given me, and then try to walk the dog with my dad every night. It's a nice little routine we got going on every day. So I get some fresh air there, and obviously just kind of talk, relax, and again, spend some more time with family.
what is we asked Sean and Garrett this on Monday, but it's kind of a good lesson for the younger guys. Like, what's the biggest thing that you learned from hockey off the ice? Like, what lesson you learned from like some coach that you've played for that has helped you off the ice, like in the classroom or just like in your life in general?
I don't know who kind of taught me this, but like one thing that I've really stuck with me is like how you do anything is how you do everything. And like, especially with Sean and Garrett, those guys are two of my best friends. And like, when we get together, like I live with those guys in the summer, like we push each other to our limits and try to work as hard as we can. But it's like like I said, like how you do anything is how you do everything. And so if you work hard on the ice, like I took that, like you need to work hard in the classroom as well. Like I had some like opportunities, like St. Lawrence is a great school. And because I worked so hard in the classroom, like I was able to get an academic scholarship as well as an athletic scholarship to St. Lawrence. So I saved the school some money there or the program so they can use it on other guys because of my academics. And that's something that just like kind of hockey taught me to like work hard in kind of all aspects of my life, to whether it's studying, like preparing for a test, or even just writing a paper. Like I treat that the same way as I would like practice and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a huge like bonus. I mean, it's great that you brought it up too, because even Garrett and Sean brought it up as well, as like letting some of these kids know a little bit how the colleges work and how those scholarships work. And every kid's like, yeah, I want a scholarship to DU or CC or whoever they loved growing up and have been a part of. They just think that they just hand out 20 scholarships for 20 guys, right? And it doesn't work that way. And being an incredible obviously being a hardworking kid, a great kid, also a great athlete, but if you can be a great student, that's a huge bonus. And that coach is going to take you over because they can, share some academic money and put you on this scholarship and save some money for the team. So it's great you brought that up, because those guys said the exact same thing too. So it's good for our younger kids to kind of get that.
Absolutely. Like my parents, sorry to interrupt you there. Like that's something my parents really stress too. It's like, it's also, there's a life after hockey, and like you can be as good as you want, but I mean, not everybody's going to make the same money that McDavid and Crosby are making. Like you need to have a backup plan, and hockey doesn't last forever, and you're going to have to get a job eventually. And that's something where you need to get a good education, and that starts from doing well in school now, whether you're in high school, middle school, or elementary school. Like work your hardest, learn as much as you can, like love to learn is like something like my dad's like trying to tell me now, and I'm 22 and he's still telling me like, yeah, you need to keep like bettering yourself, like try reading this book, try reading this. And it's just like seek knowledge and try to become the best version of yourself as much as you can, whether it's in sports or academics as well. So
and off the academics, so what's your major at St. Lawrence?
I'm just finishing up my major in economics with a minor in sports studies and exercise science.
Okay, nice. Why'd you choose those?
St. Lawrence is a really good economics department. And that's kind of something where if I want to get into financial banking or like management of people's like assets and stuff, it kind of sets me up for that. Like I know I'm gonna have to get my master's in something, but it was just economics really kind of came to me naturally. Like I'm good with numbers, good with understanding how kind of the economy works with interest rates and whether that may be like money and banking stuff. And it's just something that's always been interesting to me. And it just kind of came natural when I got there.
Nice. Did that have any like weight in your decision to go to St. Lawrence, or were you kind of looking more hockey wise at schools, or how did that kind of process in choosing a college for you work out?
Yeah. So I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do for my major, but I knew I wanted to get like a great degree, and St. Lawrence offers that. They're a great, like reputable school on the East Coast. But honestly, like it was a combination of the two. I wanted to go somewhere that was good at hockey and a great school. And at the time I committed to St. Lawrence, they're a top 16 team in the nation, which I was really looking forward to stepping in there, having an opportunity to play, and then like getting a good education. Like sadly, like we kind of had some struggles the past couple of years, but I still like I've played a lot. I've learned a lot from there, and it's just made me better.
Oh yeah, and I mean, everybody knows Coach Patterson and Coach Kevin Patterson. He'll explain the struggles and the adversity is what really, I mean, that's stuff he'd never trade back through college and all that. So, so obviously you're learning, and and constantly bettering yourself going through those hard times. So, Coach Jon, you got a question?
Yeah. Why don't you touch a little bit on your experience at the Sharks camp? Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was after my freshman year. I went to San Jose's development camp, and that was probably one of the coolest experiences of my life. Just like going to their kind of training center for a week, working and like training with their coaching staff, like their American Hockey League staff as well, along with like all of their prospects at the time. It was a first-class facility. We got treated great. Learned a lot about the game itself, and like even touched on nutrition and like how to prepare the body for practices and stuff. And that's where something that I know Jon harps on, warming up and like cooling down and something. And that was something they took extremely serious, and like really opened my eyes to how important it is to prepare your body before and even like recover afterwards as best as you can. And just kind of being a part of that, it's the other thing like that really was just cool. It's like an NHL team. Like we got treated super professionally, like from the time I got picked up from the airport to the time I left like the facilities. It was just it was unbelievable. I learned a lot from their coaching staff, and even just like participating in that and like playing against other players. Like it was awesome to be with a group of guys that was so driven and like pushed each other to get better every day. Like even though it's in the middle of the summer, nobody's in like the peak like performance time, like game shape and stuff, but we're still battling in the corners and like trying to work on just like individual skills as well. And it was just really cool to be in an environment like that for a whole week.
Why don't you touch a little bit more on that, the nutrition part? Obviously, it's a huge part, playing junior hockey, college hockey. Talk about maybe some of the cooking skills that you've maybe picked up over the last couple of years, just being away from home. Obviously, mom and dad not there, or the billet family not there to cook you the meals. You got to be able to fend for yourself a little bit, know what to buy. Talk about maybe a little bit about how much that has changed since, you're 17 till now. Because obviously that evolves over time, and obviously it's much more complicated than just, hey, I eat clean, or, it's the timing and quantities and just certain things help you make you feel better. What, like, just maybe comment on that a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think nutrition is the most, or like one of the most important, if not the most important aspect in preparing for games and training as well. Like something I found through not trial and error per se, but just like the way I've like been eating and stuff is I really stay away from pastas and stuff now. Like I don't eat any pasta really anymore, unless it's like somebody prepared it for me. Like I won't make it myself, or I won't eat it at our like dining center. And our team, St. Lawrence, like doesn't like offer that for us on game days anymore. Like we focus on our carbs and more our rices. And honestly, like I get a lot of my carbs from sweet potatoes. That's something that I found really sits well. It's easily digested, like in my stomach, to like kind of give me fuel. So like I stayed away from like, normally like people might think the typical like pregame meal should be like chicken parm and a plate of pasta. Like I found mine to be like a little chicken here, like chicken thighs actually, because they're higher in iron, and that kind of helps you with your performance. And then I do like 1 or 2 sweet potatoes, depending how big they are, and then as much like broccoli or green vegetables as I can stomach, just because I love vegetables on game days. I just found like that works for me. Obviously, like it works for me, I feel like, but just like you kind of got to find what works for you best. But like the nutrition side of it too, like you said. Like your taste and preferences change from when you're 17 to now I'm 22, and like I still have a sweet tooth. I love ice cream, but like that's something that I don't buy. I try not to buy anymore. At least like living at home for the past like month now. I really try to get up my diet as best I can, because I'm not as active as like I used to be with like the season going on. So now it's like I focus on like eating as many vegetables as I can. Limiting carbs right now, trying to get protein sources and stuff like that. But just like nutrition is, you got to find what works for yourself. But like you said, like you got to eat clean to get the most out of your training and your recovery, because that's, if you want to take this seriously, like nutrition is like the number one thing to take serious as well.
Oh yeah, eat clean, train mean, right? We love it.
John's favorite quote. That and what are you doing?
So even with the nutrition and stuff like that, what can you walk us through a little bit? What's your pregame? It comes Friday, Saturday morning. whatever it is. Walk us through a game weekend and as for a Division I athlete.
Right. So if it's like kind of a little different if we're on the road versus if we're home. I can go through both. But so if we're home Friday morning, depending this year, but like previous years, I've had a Friday morning class sometimes, but this year I didn't. I'd get up, I'd go to our dining center and get a couple eggs and a bowl of oatmeal with some fruit in it. And then normally head over to the rink for a pregame skate around like 10:30, 11 or 12, whenever it may be. Then like after that, like obviously we'd warm up for that, get a good sweat in there, get changed, and then we'd have a pregame meal supplied for us that typically consisted of some chicken, rice, salad, and some veggies as well. So I'd get that in me, and then I typically head back to my dorm room. I try to get a 2-hour nap, an hour 30 nap before games. And then I'd wake up there, I'd shower, and I'd make myself a smoothie that consisted of like almond milk, a banana, protein powder, and some strawberries, and a little bit of peanut butter, just to get a little more like in my stomach before I get to the rink then. And I found that really sat well with me. So I'd head to the rink, and then I'd go through my routine of like taping my sticks, making sure I change into the warm-up clothes and my what we call gitch, like our undergear and stuff. And so I'll get that on, tape my sticks, and then typically I'd have these little protein bars our team supplied for us. So I'd get one of those in, and then I'd start crushing water. I also have these, it's like a salt kind of packet thing that helps with your electrolyte levels or ability to it's got electrolytes and like your ability to absorb water. So I take some of that, and then I always have a gallon of water with me that I start sipping on after that to try to get that in me throughout the game as well. And then like leading up to games, obviously, like you play your game, get prepared mentally, like do what you got to do there. And then Saturday would come around, we'd normally have like a team stretch followed by video, and then a team meal again. And then I do that whole process over of taking a nap with a smoothie and then heading to the rink. So, and that's just like being at home, but then being away is like a little different, but same kind of schedule of like you'd get up on Friday morning, eat breakfast with the team, like go to the rink, do a pregame skate, like head back, get a nap, and then, or we'd eat like a pregame meal pretty early. So I'd always bring a little bit of seconds or a little plate of like leftovers for when I woke up before I get in the shower or whatever, and then head to the rink, and then kind of same thing on Saturday morning as well.
Yeah, that's huge, especially, I mean, most of the guys on here are all, 14, 15, 16, and 18 AAA. So they're on the road. They're at these Tier 1 showcases. And, we try to preach a little bit, trying to get guys in that, figure out your pregame routine, incorporate all the correct nutrition, the right sleep, like doing making sure you've done enough of a warm up. You're not laying in bed all day, right? So even your game days, even on a Saturday, you're forced to get up. You go stretch, you go do all that. Definitely stuff our guys can, start trying to figure out for themselves. And obviously everybody's got a different routine, and it's, but something they need to start looking for to be consistent.
Yeah, that's like something that I really found, like playing college and playing junior. I mean, even playing like the U16 that I was. I like to do. I'm very routine like oriented. I like to do things the same way. And like once I find kind of what works for me, like I'll stick with that as long as I can. And I know just like pregame naps have been a big part of like my pregame routine, just because like I don't know if it's Coach Sherman or not. It's just I remember always like bank sleep, and like sleep just is the number one tool for recovery. So I always try to get that. And then obviously like the nutrition aspect that we've been preaching this whole kind of conversation too. It's just like focus on what you eat, but it's not just like what you eat on game days. It's that whole week too, leading up to it. Like what you eat on Monday fuels you for Tuesday and the days after that. And so like I mean, you got to have a cheat day every once in a while, and treats like, or a treat like once in a while, but like you got to really be detailed into that as well.
Yeah, no treats, just one treat. That's it.
Just one treat. So hey, this is a little bit more about the mental side of the game, but a lot of our guys probably struggle with this, and this is probably something you struggle with when you're a bit younger, but you have a bad shift, or maybe you're having a bad game, or maybe it's a bad week of practice, or maybe a couple games in a row. Like what things do you do like to mentally get out of that like rut of just making a bad play, or whatever, a couple shifts in a row, or just how do you bounce back from that, like, and just get over that, I guess is what I'm asking.
Well, that's something that like I still struggle with. I played I played really like high level hockey for the past quite a few years now, and that's something that it doesn't go away. Like, you're gonna make mistakes. It's a game of mistakes, and it's like what I've learned to kind of bounce back from that, like you said, is you just got to shake it off. Like, and you can't just let those, or I try not to just like let those things go. It's, you got to learn from them and then try not to make that same mistake again. But like, it's about clearing your mind and coming back to the next shift with like a fresh attitude. So like something that I do on the bench, like if I know I have a bad shift, it's just kind of like that. So I try to like practice self-talk and like really focus on my breathing. So it's like, if I have a bad shift, I'll try to recover first with like a couple deep breaths, opening up my stomach. So I'm breathing through, it's called belly breathing. So I'm breathing through my belly, trying to recover as fast as I can. And then I think about the play. I'll process it as best as I can. Like, okay, so I threw a bad pass through the middle. I got picked off. If they scored, like, flush that out. If they didn't, say nothing. Like I say, like, nothing bad happened. Like, you're fine. And then just try to focus on, okay, be a difference maker the next shift. Like, be solid. Like, get your legs back under you. Like, and just try to come back with a fresh mindset, and letting go of the mistakes that you may have made in the previous shifts. And then if that doesn't work and you have a couple bad games in a row, I always either shave or go get a haircut and try to change something.
There you go. Switch up the routine some way.
But you're not like crazy superstitious though. Like, you don't get like in these weird things where if you don't like not washing your clothes or something like that, you're not crazy superstitious. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm a little superstitious, but not crazy like that. Like if I have a good game or something and I like the way I played, like I'll try to do stuff very similar.
Right, of course. Yeah.
Same stuff there, but no, I always wash my shirts and underwear, John, unlike you.
What? All right. Anyways, moving on. Who are your biggest influences, like, on and off the ice? Obviously there's life outside of hockey, teachers, obviously parents, anybody like that. It's like, who's your biggest hockey influence? Who's your biggest non-hockey influence in your life? And it could be more than one person for each.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of looking at hockey wise, I have two coaches really stick out to me. One being Pat Bingham. There's a reason that I come back and train with you guys in the summer for, like I said, this will be my sixth or seventh, eighth summer back. And like, I love working with him. He made a big impact on me when I was playing for him. And he's a guy that I really respect his opinion on a lot of stuff. Like, I still talk to him, like during the season and stuff like that. And just, he's a great guy and somebody that I really look up to. And then also a junior coach I had, his name's Pat LaFontaine. Or John LaFontaine, sorry. His brother's Pat LaFontaine. But anyway, but he was a guy that really imparted a lot on kind of me as a person too. I was a captain for him. I learned a lot from him, and he's a great guy and somebody I really look up to as well. And then obviously, like, some of my favorite teammates have really had a big impact on me. Like, you guys had Sean and Garrett on Monday. Those are two of my best friends. Like, some guys I told you I lived with them. And it's just like, those guys really, like, we push each other to get better every day. Like, we have fun together and we like work hard together. And it's just like, the guys that you meet, like, playing for the Rampage too, like, those are guys that I knew through the Rampage. And those are guys that, like, they're gonna be my best friends for life. Like, we've built a tight knit bond kind of there. And then obviously, like, my parents have had a massive impact on my life. And taught me a lot about what it takes to, like, get better every day and just, like, be a good person too.
Yeah, for sure. So as we kind of start to wrap this up here, what, if you had to, I mean, obviously this goes out to the entire program. So there's, 8Us, there's adult leaguers, there's, 18, 16s, it's all over the board. So if you could,
I'm sorry, you cut out there for your, like,
oh yeah, sorry. No, I was just saying, so we have obviously everybody watching this. We have a huge range of ages and kids and skill levels and things. But, what's some advice, if you could sum it down to a couple points, like, what would you give a young Rampage player who's maybe a 14 right now, or just anybody who's starting their hockey career? What advice would you give those guys?
Yeah, kind of like something that I tried to do too, that my dad really like taught me this. It's like, you might be working hard, but there's a guy in Sweden who's working harder than you, a guy in Russia that's working harder than you. So like, what are you doing to outwork like the people that you don't know? Like, you might be the best player on your team, you could be the best player in the state, but you don't know if you like, how are you going to be the best player in the country, and like, how are you going to be the best player in the world? It's like, what are you doing to like make yourself better and spread the gap between you and that next guy? Just that's something that you can never do. You can never like work. It's I don't know how to say it, but I know Coach Pat once said like, there's no rules against being the strongest guy in the gym. It's like, you got to go in there, you got to work your hardest and try to become like the best player you can be. But another piece of advice that I would really give is just take school seriously. Like, we talked about it again, but it's just like, school is super important. It's something I took seriously. It's something I know a lot of my friends took seriously. Surround yourself with people who have the same kind of mindset as you, of getting better, of wanting to be the best, and that will help you as well. And just like kind of turning you into like, if you surround yourself with good people, you're going to be a good person. Yeah, I don't know what else I could say other than those three pieces of take school seriously, work as hard as you can, and surround yourself with people who are like-minded.
No, that's all really good stuff. And Pat still jokes about that today too, where he'd say like, why wouldn't you want to be their strongest, like toughest kid? Like, I'd be in the gym every day. Like, why wouldn't you want to be cut and ripped and like be the strongest guy? It's a no-brainer. But you think we still have to explain that to kids, but no, it makes a ton of sense. And you can never work too hard. Like, just keep grinding away at it no matter what level you're at. I think Giles was a great example too. So, he didn't make the 16 team his first year, whatever it is, kind of worrying about what other people are doing, and still trust the process, worked his ass off and got through it. Right. So I like all those, that's all really good advice. Coach Jon, you got anything else?
Is there any question? Do we have any audience questions before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, it's gonna be the same one as last time.
Oh, is it?
Well, it's what's a memorable rink you played at? What's the toughest barn to play at, juniors or college?
Oh,
or
man. In juniors, probably the toughest one in juniors. Like, we had a good kind of rivalry with Dubuque. That was always a tough rink to go in and play at. I know that. If there's anybody else, I don't know. Maybe Lincoln. Lincoln was a tough one. I played in USHL. Dubuque and Lincoln were probably two tough barns for me, and Cedar Rapids as well. Cedar Rapids and Dubuque were two tough barns for me. And then college, oh man, there's a couple crazy student sections in the ECAC and in Cornell and Clarkson. Like, we have a big rivalry with Clarkson that always gets crazy. But then out of our conference, I've played at North Dakota and Maine. Those are two probably insane student sections as well. But just college hockey is such a different animal than juniors because of the student section and stuff. It's just something special that if everybody's goal is to play college hockey, it's a good goal to have.
Mm-hmm. We got another one. We got another question. Sorry, Ship. Were you going to say something?
Oh, you're good. No, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, we've got another question from Donovan Burdett. He's just wondering what's your favorite road city to visit, I guess. The cities that you've gone to. I mean, a lot of them are towns, but I guess what's your favorite place to go when you go on a road trip and you're looking forward to going to that place, if you have one?
Let's see here. I mean, in our conference, I always liked going to the Yale Brown weekend because we'd go to Providence, Rhode Island, and also New Haven, Connecticut, and two not bad places. Providence is a great city. We'd always take a walk around kind of a downtown area. Like, there's a little port there that we'd walk around as a team. Where like I don't know, it's kind of tough playing in the ECAC because there, like, you play a different team on Friday than you do on Saturday. So like, we're kind of traveling there a bit, but I always like going to Yale Brown. I know Union RPI is not a bad one as well, and that's in Schenectady and Troy, New York. So there's not too many that like I really look forward to going to those cities, but it's always fun to go on the road and play those teams in their barn because each barn in the ECAC is special in its own way. That's something that I really liked about that conference.
No, that's real good answer. It's Bo, we're hitting that 30-minute mark, so I just want to thank you obviously for coming on, taking time out of your quarantine to reach out to some of the players at the Rampage, and we're so grateful and appreciative obviously to have guys like you come back and share your wisdom and help these. I mean, all these kids are sitting in a spot looking up to you saying, I want to go there, or I want to play college hockey, I want to do that. So we appreciate you taking the time out and speaking with us. It means a lot to these younger guys for sure.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me. Hopefully I'll be able to get out to Monument soon and see you guys in person.
Yeah, thank you, Bo. Appreciate the time. And yeah, we'll see you hopefully sooner than later, but get back to training and get ready for the 2021 season.
There we go.
Well, nice. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We will be posting on Facebook when the next interviews are. We look forward to seeing you guys again. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.